Recently, I started rewatching the series Revolutionary Girl Utena, one of my all-time favorites, revisiting the series to see how I feel about it. Last time I had watched the entire first arc of the series, the Student Council arc, came out of that arc with a much greater appreciation for it than I ever had before. Because when I first watched it, like I said in that video, I didn't quite understand where the series was going, the tone of the show, what it was trying to be, and it was off-putting at first. This, my second go-around, knowing what kind of show I was getting into, I loved it. I ended up loving it. Was just a fantastic arc from beginning to end. Enjoyed the entirety of it. And at the end of my last video, I was thinking about the Black Rose arc, the next arc of the series, and I was talking about how I remember loving this arc, that this arc was just really goddamn good, but I couldn't remember what its role was in the greater narrative. To the point to where I was just kind of joking. I'm like, what is this like? Was it like a filler arc? Is it going to be like the Black Rose arc in Sailor, or not is it going to be like the Doomtree arc of Sailor Moon, where it's just like, oh yeah, it's super fucking dope, but it doesn't really contribute to anything in the greater narrative? And I was kind of joking there. I didn't actually expect that to be the case. I figured once I go back to this arc and rewatch it, I will see how it ties into the greater. No, I was right the first time. I remember this completely accurately. This is a fucking filler arc. And it's funny too, because I never noticed it while watching, because like I said, I didn't know where the story was going. But yeah, no, the Black Rose arc, it's kind of a filler arc. It's a damn good filler arc. In fact, I would argue that is potentially the best filler arc ever of any show. In fact, it might be a filler arc that is the best arc of its series as a whole, because I still like it more than the Black Rose arc, and I don't know if I like the Apocalypse arc as much as I like the Black Rose arc. So, we'll see. Now, a lot of people might get a little upset over like my usage of the word filler, because like, there isn't a manga, so, it can't be filler, it's all part blah, 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 blah. No, when I say filler, I mean that, like, it just doesn't contribute to the greater narrative. Like, nothing in it, like, none of the characters, none of the plot points are really going to carry over in any kind of meaningful way. So, yeah, that is what I mean. That, like, if you just skip this arc entirely, you're missing nothing. The only thing that you're particularly missing is the introduction of the character of Akio. Akio now is a very fucking important character, and his episode should not be skipped, because, he's Anthy's brother. He's, this is already pretty revealed fairly early in, so I don't think it's really spoilers yet. By the way, like, if you guys haven't watched Utena, you don't want to get spoiled for, like, these arcs. Like, I kind of have to, like, talk about the previous arcs and just, we're gonna get into spoiler territory really quick now. So I will just say that, yeah, this arc is fucking phenomenal. If you don't want to get spoiled, dip the fuck out now, because I really would not want to ruin this series for people. But yeah, Akio is end of the world. He is very clearly end of the world. The guy who is pulling the strings of the student council, and now he is pulling the strings of the Mikage seminar institute, where basically this kid, Soji Mikage, or Mikage, is he runs like a seminar, which is basically like kind of like almost like a therapy thing. Like, you go to him and like with your problems, and they will talk to you about your problems. But really, he uses that to find broken, damaged people with like some darkness in them, like selfish, self-serving, just people with like an undercurrent of bitterness to them. And he uses this, like he finds these people, and then he puts a black rose crest ring on them, and then they go to challenge the Rose Bride. The whole point of this is the reason they are challenging the Rose Bride, specifically the Mikage seminar, is challenging the Rose Bride, is because he is informed that if he can beat Utena and kill Anthy, then this boy Minami will oh fuck, I forgot that kid's name. Whatever. This other kid can become the Rose Bride or Rose Groom. But yeah. So that is, and Mikage wants to do this to give the boy eternity. Basically, so the boy will not die. There's a whole long, convoluted backstory with that whole thing. But as for the arc as a whole, though, like I said, this arc doesn't really tie into, the next arc that follows it. Like I said, it's kind of a filler arc. It's kind of irrelevant. But the individual episodes are so goddamn good. Because, the whole framing device of the series is characters, just unloading all of their kind of emotional baggage. So you just have characters just really, it's that moment in Evangelion where Shinji is, or really any of the characters are sitting in the folding chair and they're just psychologically breaking themselves down. It is that scene, episode after episode, with different characters with their own different personalities and quirks and their own specific emotional issues. It gives you so much insight into these characters. Even Utena's best friend Wakaba gets caught up in it, where she does not want Saionji to go back to his old life because Saionji had been living with her and she's been taking care of him, and she's finally got the attention of her senpai that she's been in love with, and then he was going back to his old life, and she could not deal with that. And she knew that the moment he does, he's not going to interact with her anymore. He's going to go back to obsessing over Anthe again. She needed him to need her. And that was really good character exploration. It's a really great place for her character, to take her character, and it's a direction that made sense for her character. And one of the big things here is that because you have Mikage and the Black Rose group, doing their thing, and you have the student council who are kind of being victimized in this situation, where the villains of the first arc are now the victims of the new villains, where every time he would put a rose, one of those black rose rings on someone's finger, they would go to a member of the student council, because all of them had some connection to them. Usually the source of their emotional distress was a member of the student council in some way, shape, or form. And they would, draw a sword from that person and then have their fighting style. So yeah, it's great stuff. There's really not that much to really say about this arc other than basically what I've just said. Each character gets really interesting deconstructions. Characters that you wouldn't even expect it from. They actually, Nanami's fucking shitty little fucking bitch friend who's a real cunt gets character exploration. And it kind of ends on a really bittersweet note. With some really woke statements from Anthe at the end. So yeah, it's just a fantastic arc from beginning to end. Like I said, it may not contribute to the larger narrative, but the story itself, self-contained, is so goddamn good. Mikage's whole backstory of why he's trying to save this kid, who he was in love with that resulted in this whole thing, his whole backstory. It's fascinating. Everything is just so well constructed, so well put together. And it doesn't really overstay its welcome either. I was actually kind of surprised by how short this arc is, because it is a whopping 10 episodes. This set has 12 episodes. 2 of those 12 episodes are recap episodes. The first one is a really good recap episode that recaps the entire first arc and gives you a lot of insight in, introduces Akio the character as End of the World and Dio or Dios, and like introduces those two, and you get a lot of kind of relevant information in that. Yeah, that's like one of the evil things that Utena does, is that its recap episodes are actually fucking important. Well, 2 of its 3 recap episodes are really important, I should say. Yeah, the second recap episode in this set is mostly skippable. It's not bad. It's got a few good laughs in it. I got some chuckles. But it is kind of just a joke recap episode, just kind of all Nanami focused, and just kind of, you know, it's the events of the series that she has been specifically involved in, most of which were kind of standalone filler episodes, from the perspective of this character who idolizes her. So it's fun, but not really relevant or important. It can be skipped if you wanted to. It's still a fun episode, but whatevs. But yeah, so the Black Rose arc is just really good from beginning to end. I don't have a lot to say about it beyond that, other than it's really goddamn good. We get a lot of like little just kind of character moments here and there. A lot more insight into Auntie, where we're definitely starting to see like, oh, Auntie's way more sinister than I thought she was. Also the first hints at the whole incest storyline, because yeah, this series has got some incest. It's got lesbians, it's got some incest, it's got a little something for everybody. So yeah, Black Rose arc, fucking awesome. 10 out of 10 arc. Loved it. Really look forward to seeing the last arc, the Apocalypse arc, because I remember the basics of that arc, but I can't remember, like I'm trying to remember how it is as long as it is. So yeah, I look forward to getting to that. Until next time, Xeon out.